So welcome back. This is part 2 of creation by numbers, and I've just shown how in part 1 how all these numbers were created, and this was the start of time and what I said, space. So, but there's various things that we're going to point out here, and that is the cross, which always has the 369 numbers there. So often when we see clocks around, all we really get actually is we get this 369 12, and you don't see the rest of the numbers where they're just sort of implied maybe by the points and the minute lines. So we're seeing this all the time. The 369 is everywhere when you start to tune in, but very, very present here is the 369, and then the 12. We'll look at that in a moment, but there it's an extra 3. But I'm also going to show a way in which it transforms itself into a 9 in just a moment. So let's put back in the other numbers which were created. It was also kind of interesting, I thought, that the creation of numbers started with the 5 and then the 7 and then the 8 and the 4. So creation was kind of built up from the base up as well. It's another factor just to be aware of. Is that 17 or 11? 11. So this is the classic clock, you know. I mean, I've drawn in the cross, so we might as well say it now, is that Jesus was on the cross. So what did it mean by Jesus being on the cross? As I talked about self-awareness, when we're normally caught up in the mind, in the ego mental streams, and then at a certain point, that's when we're whirling around in the circle, the zero, and at a certain point there's a break, because we're doing some sort of spiritual practice which teaches us to come back to self-awareness and presence. There's a break, and that break helps us to be able to take a moment, ideally, to become aware of body, feelings, mind, and all that goes on around us moment to moment. Jesus being on the cross means that he is literally on this cross here, and he is out of the normal turning around the sphere. He's not going round and round in the mind. He is present on the cross, connected to the 3, 6, 9 and the one above. So that's that. That's just a little brief side call on that one. So at the 1 here, the 1 is actually 5 minutes. The 2 is 10 minutes past the hour, 15 minutes past the hour, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then we're not sure about the 12. 12, in terms of what we're seeing on clocks, it's 0, 0 minutes. But in a more logical way, actually, this is 60 minutes. There are no 0 minutes really. You know, we get to the 60th minute and then we start the first minute of the next cycle. But on a clock, we do see the double zeros. So we'll look at that in a moment anyway. But right now, let's now do because before what we had 3, 6, 9 on the cross symbol, and all the rest of the numbers are when we're turning around this, and as you turn around, you know, there's still moments when you hit a 3, you know, when you're in your mind and you kind of come back to a certain, this is what makes us think that we're aware some of the time. We call ourselves aware, present, and that's because we're turning around these, and there are moments where, yeah, okay, I notice a tree, I hear the sound of a bird, I feel the wind against the skin, whatever it is that makes me come back to self for a brief second, for maybe 1 minute whilst I'm passing here, not even 1 minute, maybe 1 second when I'm just at that point there, and then I'm back on other mental streams. I'll make a reconnection there, then I'll be way gone there, another connection there, and so on as we turn through. But we do have these little micro connections to the moment, to the presence, to certain qualities of self-consciousness. But Jesus on the cross means that he was constantly self-aware, present, awake. And that's the goal of the spiritual path. However, when we look at this in more detail, we look for the numerological breakdown. When we add the 1 and the 5, creates as a 6. The 2 and the 1, or the 2 and the 10, creates a 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 to the 15 is 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. 4, 2 plus 0 gives us 6. This is another 12, which gives us a 3. 36 here, which gives us the 9. Also, that's 18. I'll put that in brackets just because it's interesting. And this is 36. And then we move along here. This is 42, which gives us another 6. 48, which gives us a 12 and a 3. 45 plus 9 breaks down to a 9, from a 54. 60, which is a 6. 66, which gives us a 12, which comes out to a 3. And then here, if I was to add the double zeros to the 12, it would be 12, and 1 plus 2 equals 3, so that would be a 3. Or if I count it as 60 minutes and add the 12, then it becomes 72 in brackets, which obviously gives us the 9. And then that completes the rhythm of 639, 639, 639, 639 at the top. So when we look at it at that deeper level, the whole cycle can be shifted into 639, which for me, like possibly being on the cross means, okay, I'm present. And maybe more, or almost like the image for me of being in practice and meditation when I'm staying present. Whereas this is more of a conversion of, okay, I'm working through time and space and doing my day-to-day activities, but I'm still, because it's a transformation of, I'm still able to stay connected, chopping wood, carrying water, with wakefulness and presence, connected to the 369. So there, in fact, what we'll do now, I'm actually going to get rid of the double zero, and we'll bring down those guys. So we accept that now that is 60 seconds, 60 minutes per hour, 60 seconds per hour per minute, and then you start with 1 minute, 1 second, and so on to 60. Even though that's what we see on the double zero on a 24-hour clock. Speaking of clock, since how we're talking about the clock here, let's put a dot in the middle, and the R on any clock, there's an hour hand, and there's also the minute hand and even a second hand as well. So these are the hours, and if we're turning through in this space, and we're going through our day-to-day lives, but we're actually basically caught up in mental proliferation, thinking, mind, ego, planning, reflecting, and all that. But still, there's always moments where we come back. You know, these are the nines when we add them up that way. The 9, 9, 9, 9, where we do come back to an awareness of our environment, of what's going on certain feelings, on whatever it is. We're having those moment-to-moment contacts still. And we could also look at that if we're minute to minute as well, second to second. Maybe there's still fleeting moments. So, but when we're going around in this cycle, that's what it is. It's fleeting moments between thought processes and what have you. However, when we bring these together here, then what we're talking about is, can we be self-aware? Can we be present moment by moment? So seconds, these are the seconds or the minutes going 1 to 60. If we're able to be present moment by moment, therefore on the second hand, minute by minute, then we're also going to be present hour by hour. And so when we bring these together, then we shift out into this 639 cycle, which is the cycle of an awakened mind. Okay, now I just want to bring back something that I did earlier to look at that a little bit more, and that's the cross. So if I can just dot in this line here, and I'm going to dot in that line there. So once we accept that this is a 60, in fact, let's all 1 second, we'll look at this as well. You've got to remember the base of this creation by numbers was we started with the 0, which broke, turned into the 9. The 9, possibly through yin yang, already gives birth to the 6. The 6 and 9 together making the circle. But then we've got the 6 and the 3, because the 9 breaks down into the harmonic of thirds and 2/3, so it gives us the 3 and the 6, and then the 3 also did as the Father did and broke down into third and 2/3, 1, 2, and in this level of creation the 6 transcends as it is. So we've got the different generations here, which, you know, we've got in theory a 0 at the top, but also the 6 and the 0 stay together here. So you've got the 9, the Father, which divided into the 6 and the 3. So we've got all the elements of creation there at the top of the sphere, at the top of creation, whether that's the sphere of the universe, the planet, or our personal energetic spheres. So I leave that there, maybe. So this is the 6 axis, this is the 3 axis. So earlier I talked about Jesus being on the cross. So when we're on this cross, this is like we're trying to step outside of this circling through time, which is circling through mental occupation, mental proliferation, and breaking out of that onto the cross means breaking out into awareness of the present moment, awareness of feelings, body, mental movements, whether that's proliferations, ego thoughts, whatever, and also aware of our environment all around us. Now we've also talked about applying that to moment by moment, which is the creation of the awakened mind. But once we see that we've got this cross here, then we can also shift a perspective once again and realize that this could be a line of longitude and latitude here. So if we continue with that theme, I dipped a little bit there as I did that horizontal, but that's because it's actually a latitude. And if I dip the line a teeny bit here, That's a lot. Then what you get is we start to see that we're turning it into a sphere. So the longitude lines will just be like this. Okay, maybe for clarity, I'm going to have too many things on the board here, so let's just get rid of those combination numbers there for now. I might bring them back if it works out. So when we look at this, let's look at the longitudinal lines. We'll start at the top here. So here we've got the 11 and the 1 are now linked together through a pattern of longitude. So the 11 and the 1 together gives us 12. If we add the numbers of the seconds or minutes, then we've got 60. 55 plus 5 gives us 60. Let's take the 10 and the 2 here. 10 and 2 also equals 12. Drop my pen. And the 50 and the 10 give us 60 there. Let's keep going. 9 and 3 is 12. 45 and 15 is 60. 4 and 8 is 12. 40 and 20 gives us 60. And down here 7 and 5 also gives us a 12, and 35 and 25 give us 60. So what we're seeing here is when we're looking at the lines of longitude, they're all the same, giving us 60 and 12, which is what was created, everything was created from at the beginning. 60 and 12, 60 and 12. Let's look at that on the longitude. It slightly plays out slightly different on the longitude. So we'll start here on the side here. So this is the 2 and the 4 which are connected together, which give us 6, and the blue numbers are 10 and 20, which give us 30. Here the 1 and the 5 give us a 6, and the 5 and the 25 give us 30. Through here we've got the 12 and the 6, which give us 18, which is a 9, but the 30 and the 60 is 90. Here again, 7 and 11 give us 18, and 35 and 55 give us 90 again, and 10 and 8 give us 18, and 50 and 40 also give us 90. So when we look at this, this is the 9-3 axis. The 9 is universal consciousness. This is how I break things down in the powers of 9. 9 is universal consciousness, the Father. 3 is manifest consciousness. So the manifest consciousness is the level of consciousness that we can have with us, which is the awakened mind, which is we're bringing that into the manifest form of the universal mind. And in the powers of 9, I also talk about the number 72 as being this awakened consciousness. So when we add here all these numbers, 60 plus 12, as is at the top there, is the 72. And these numbers, 60 plus 12, when we add up all along, they're all giving back the 72, which obviously is the 9 still. And so being the 3-axis, dealing with universal consciousness, 72 they give back, which is conscious awareness. On these axes here we're getting 36, and here we're getting 108. So this is the 9-6 axis, which is more connecting with universal energy. The 0 was universal energy, and then the 6, once the 9's broken down into the 3 and the 6, this is manifest consciousness, manifest universal energy, so manifest energy. And this is what transcends the globe. This 60 here, this 6 transcends here. In terms of the individual sphere, energetic sphere, what we're talking about there is the energy that comes down, which is the serpent coiled at the base chakra, the Kundalini energy, which can be through any various different things, but also mainly through spiritual practice, can be cultivated, can be unleashed, can rise up, creating energy through the chakras. So this is the 6 axis, and so it's also interesting for me that gives us the number of the 108 there, because the 8 we can also see as the infinity symbol on the side. And what we've gone through here is we've gone through the self-awareness, the individualized consciousness, self-awareness, which is once aware of the sphere, the energetic sphere that we all are, then it becomes aware, then there is the awareness of the infinity of creation, of being, of the universe, which comes with that. And this is very, whilst this longitudinal axis, latitudinal axis is very much involved with consciousness and conscious awareness, the longitudinal lines are much more concerned with the energetic side, manifest energy, universal energy. Okay, so that's getting let's take out this stuff. Okay, so I've just tidied that up, and I'm putting the numbers for the joint numbers of the hours and minutes, or hours and seconds, which, when we're functioning with awareness and consciousness, moment to moment, minute by minute, then we're shifting out onto the 369 cycle. Once we start to start to shift into that 369 cycle, then we're becoming much more aware of our sphere of energy. To be hippie about it, we're talking about a perception of our energy field, if you like, which ultimately is spherical, or we can just simply talk about being aware, being self-aware, conscious, etc. So there's still quite a bit more to unpack from here that I want to various things that I want to point out. So I'm actually going to wrap this one up and then start again and open up some of the points things that I feel like I've missed out, and things that I feel like I could expand on a little bit more with the material that we've produced here. So if you've enjoyed this one, come back and check out the sequel, the next part, and thanks for watching this one.